Hey there, FinTech folks. Welcome to this week's news wrap where we dive into the most groundbreaking stories shaping the future of FinTech. And first up, we have India taking the digital payments to the next level. Processing 50 crore transactions per day is not brag-worthy enough because the RBI wants UPI to do a lot more. And this is what has led them to launch delegated payments on UPI, through which a primary account can allow secondary users to make UPI payments through their UPI ID up to a certain limit. I certainly do understand parents wanting their children to use their accounts for pocket money expenses while being able to keep an eye on where is it that their ward are spending money on. But really, if this feature does not have adequate checks and balances in place and really strong security protocols, it can become every digital scamster's wildest dream come true. How do I legitimately prove that I do intend to allow person A to access my funds? And how would the network know whether or not person A is indeed whom they claim to be? Name matching is definitely one such tactic, but honestly, in India, where there are so many family feuds, would that even be foolproof for technology? Next up, continuing on the topic of scams, a lot of us have been scammed by a lot of these fake loan apps, right? And while the government has been working hard to ban a lot of these apps, especially the ones that have a very Chinese tie to it, the sad reality is that many people still fall victim to such unscrupulous acts. And the RBI has a solution for us, a public repository of all digital lending apps. Now, how will it help us? Well, if a digital lending app claims to be associated with a well-known regulated entity like a bank or an NBFCs, customers can use this repository to do a quick lookup and verify that claim. Further, if there are any apps that are trying to connive their way by quoting exorbitant rates to their customers or resorting to unethical recovery tactics, customers will be armed with knowledge to protect themselves. But the question remains, in a country that has such low financial literacy, can such an education-based effort really help reduce the number of digital crimes that are being committed? And continuing on, looks like the WazirX financial crime thriller of the $239 million still has a few more climatic scenes to it. This Indian crypto exchange, which was born in 2017, thought its multi-sig wallets were like Fort Knox. Spoiler alert, it was not. Because on July 18th, boom, hackers waltzed into it and they made it look like it was like the rerun of the first episode of Money Heist. WazirX's compromised wallets had basically 6 signatories. 5 of them were from WazirX and 1 was from Liminal. The breach was attributed to a discrepancy between the data on Liminal's digital custody platform and the actual transaction on WazirX. And while both of them have been pointing fingers on each other, the customer's money was what was caught in the entire gambit. But recently, in response, WazirX on August 8th announced that they will be restoring the balances of all affected accounts and nullify all the trades that were made from July 18th till the 8th of August. And this move is, in a way, according to WazirX, a way to ensure that there is some equitable outcome for the users at the end of the day. Now, across the 7 seas into America, specifically in the US, looks like Customers Bank just got a not so friendly knock on the door from Fed, the financial fashion police, if you will. This crypto-friendly bank was once the darling of digital asset firms and now has been caught with compliance pants down. The Fed is basically saying that your anti-money laundering outfit is very out of season. Anyways, Customer Bank's clients are like the who's who of the crypto world. They count Galaxy Digital, Coinbase, Circle, but apparently they've been playing fast and loose with the rulebook. It's like having a Wild West crypto party and they forgot to check whom they're letting in through the door. While their CBIT platform, which was meant to be like a round-the-clock dollar exchange crypto RAM for their crypto clients, it's now under the Fed spotlight. And the Customers Bank has basically said that now they're going to scale back on all of this and They promised to be good. Well, after mommy and daddy kind of grounded them. But anyways, the next news that we have from the US is on Solana. Now, Solana is a blockchain that is not only known for speed and efficiency of processing digital transaction and its unique proof of history protocol, but also in the developer community, it's known for launching a lot of meme coins. Because the blockchain allows for smart contracts to be easily configured and deployed on their networks. And because of this, the Sol to Ether price has seen a huge surge in the recent days. And sensing an opportunity here, Brazil's Security and Exchange Commission has greenlighted a Sol spot exchange traded fund. And if this comes into market, it will become one of the first such products to be launched globally. Does this mean that we'll get to see a Sol ETF in the US soon? A very long shot, because even given the inconsistent nature of the way the Howey tests results come out, Sol can never really classify as something that's not a securities. Now, cutting across to the Pacific and moving to the Europe, we have Stripe's Swiss knife of payments products, and this just keeps getting better by the day. And recently, they launched a plug-and-play widget for developers to embed their product offerings that can easily accept payments in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and a bunch of other stablecoins as well. And for this, they have Bitstamp playing as their wingman in this fiat to crypto tango. In fact, Bitstamp even dressed up for the MICA, which is Europe's crypto police, and they've given EURT, or the Euro-dominated stablecoin, a complete boot from their system to comply with the MiCA rules. And next, we have the Central Bank of Saudi Arabia that is teaming up with Ripple to revolutionize cross-border payments. This power couple is set to make international money transfer a lot faster, cheaper, and super efficient. But that's not all. UAE Central Bank is also exploring blockchain options for interbank payments, and they've been a little picky about the technology. Only a select few have made it to the cut. One of them was R3 Coda, Hyperledger Fabric. And so what does that mean for all of crypto? For one, it shows that financial institutions, even if it's just one right now, are finally waking up to the potential of blockchain. Moving a little closer to home, Asia and Australia. In Russia, amidst all of that SWIFT ban and other countries boycotting their currency, they passed two very crucial bills. The first one allows for Bitcoin mining, and the second one allows their central bank to experiment with cryptocurrencies, especially for cross-border payments. Now, come November 1st, national companies and registered individual entrepreneurs will get the green light to start crypto mining, courtesy the Ministry of Digital Development. This regulatory nod from Russia might just prompt other jurisdictions to follow suit and create a more structured environment for crypto innovation. Unregistered entities can also continue and join in on the mining frenzy in Russia as long as they promise to keep their energy consumption in check, which right now it's a tightrope walk and it's very region specific. Meanwhile, Bank of Russia is also cooking up a crypto test bed of sorts where they're testing cryptocurrencies for international trade settlements, exchange trading, and also integrating it with their national payment platform. And that kind of asks the question, can legal system keep up with fintech's lightning pace innovation? Malaysia and Singapore are definitely leading the charge, especially when it comes to something like crypto supervision, with a very unique approach that is setting them apart from the rest of the globe. Malaysia, by the way, has ranked in the top 30 countries for crypto adoption, with peer-to-peer exchange trade volume that's super high for a country of its population. But its legal framework still needs a lot of work. One, transparency and consistency in order to avoid a lot of regulatory headache that comes with a lot of fast-paced innovation in crypto. And Singapore, on the other hand, well, it's obviously known to be like a crypto haven. It has a very robust regulatory framework, a very skilled labor force or workforce, and favorable policies to help this thriving startup, crypto startup in the nation, making it like a perfect eye of the storm for digital innovation. And they've also projected an annual growth rate of about 8.79% year on year for the next 5 years. So the crypto market in Singapore and Malaysia is definitely set to soar. And finally, we have the Australian Federal Police, which is on a hunt, and this is known as the Spincaster because the AFP, or the Australian Federal Police, has teamed up with Chain Analysis to tackle some of the approval phishing scam, some of which has managed to drain over $4 billion from crypto wallets across the globe. So far, they've identified close to about 2,000 compromised Australian wallets and are working with all the top exchanges to prevent or stop further losses from happening. Now, they understand that this is a borderless crime, but by sharing intel and expertise, they're closing in on the culprits. As the analyst Phil Larrett from Chain Analysis said, it's a relentless fight, but together we can disrupt the entire global scan epidemic that's happening. And I think no crypto news or fintech news would be complete without a mention of AI and crypto. So here we have ELF and ChainGPT, which are joining forces and planning to revolutionize the blockchain space with a healthy dose of AI adrenaline. Now, this dynamic duo aims to turbocharge ELF's platform with cutting-edge AI tools like chatbots, NFT generators, smart contract automated tools, and all of that, with the goal to create a smarter, more intuitive blockchain that's user-friendly as well as innovative. ELF will also integrate ChatGPT's decentralized AI magic, including NFTs and smart contract generators, an AI trading assistant, and act as a launchpad that can also be completely off the chain. Now that's a wrap for this week's FinTech News. I hope you liked it, and I will see you again in the next edition. Bye!